Welcome to my channel. All right, so picture this. You're scrolling, you see the headline, and you stop because Toyota just did what with the Corolla Cross? Yep, the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross is officially here, and honestly, this one caught me off guard in the best way possible. At first glance, it doesn't feel like the safe, quiet Corolla Cross we've known. Toyota clearly decided to shake things up. The new design is sharper, wider looking, and way more confident. The front end is the biggest glow-up, slimmer headlights, a bolder grille, and a stance that finally feels like it belongs in the compact SUV conversation, not just sitting politely in the background. There's something almost European about it now. I know it sounds wild to say this about a Corolla, but there's a hint of that Italian supercar attitude in the way the lines flow and how planted it looks, especially from the side. It still keeps that compact, city-friendly size, which is great, but it doesn't look small anymore. Toyota leaned into sporty proportions without going over the top. New wheel designs help a lot too, especially on the higher trims. They give it that, wait, is that really a Corolla Cross double take? And around the back, the taillights are cleaner and more modern, with a slightly wider look that makes the whole SUV feel more premium. Now, under the hood, Toyota stayed true to what they do best. The hybrid setup is front and center for 2026, and honestly, that's exactly what this car needed. It's smoother, more responsive, and more efficient than before, especially in everyday driving. You don't need to think about it, it just works. Pulling away from a stop feels quicker, merging onto highways is easier, and everything feels more refined than the previous model. What's cool is that Toyota didn't just make it efficient, they made it feel more fun. The throttle response is sharper, the steering feels lighter and more direct, and around corners it feels surprisingly composed. No, it's not a sports car, but for a compact SUV, it's got personality now. That Italian supercar feeling people are talking about isn't about speed, it's about confidence, balance, and that feeling that the car actually wants to move with you instead of just carrying you around. And for those of you who like a little adventure, Toyota didn't forget about off-road capability. There's still an all-wheel drive option, and for 2026, it's smarter and more capable. Light trails, dirt roads, snowy mornings, this thing is ready. The suspension tuning feels slightly more forgiving, and ground clearance is still practical enough to not make you nervous when the pavement ends. It's not pretending to be a hardcore off-roader, but it's absolutely built for real life. Step inside, and this is where the biggest improvement might be. The interior finally feels like it caught up to the exterior. The dashboard design is cleaner, more modern, and way easier on the eyes. The materials feel better to the touch, and everything is laid out in a way that just makes sense. You sit down, and within seconds, you feel comfortable. The infotainment screen is larger and more responsive, and thank you, Toyota, it's intuitive now. No digging through menus just to change simple settings. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are here, and they work smoothly. The digital gauge cluster is clearer, customizable, and actually looks cool instead of feeling like an afterthought. Seats are more supportive than before, especially on longer drives, and there's more attention to little details, contrast stitching, soft-touch surfaces, better storage spots. Rear seat space is still solid for a compact SUV, and cargo room remains practical for groceries, backpacks, or weekend trips. It's the kind of interior that doesn't try too hard, but ends up feeling genuinely nice. Safety-wise, Toyota is doing what Toyota does. The latest driver assistance features come standard, and they're smoother and less intrusive than older systems. Lane assistance feels more natural, adaptive cruise is more confident, and overall, it just feels like the car is looking out for you instead of nagging you. Now let's talk pricing, because this is where the Corolla Cross really stays true to its roots. While exact numbers depend on trim and market, Toyota is clearly aiming to keep this affordable. Expect a slight bump over the previous model, especially for the hybrid and higher trims, but nothing that feels unreasonable. When you compare what you're getting, the design, the tech, the efficiency, it still undercuts a lot of competitors. And when you look back at older Corolla Cross models, the difference is night and day. The earlier versions were practical, reliable, and kind of forgettable. The 2026 version feels intentional. It feels like Toyota finally asked, how do we make this exciting without losing what people love about it? And I think they nailed that balance. So who is this for? Honestly, a lot of people. First-time SUV buyers, commuters who want great fuel economy, small families, even car enthusiasts who want something efficient but not boring. It doesn't scream for attention, but it definitely earns a second look now. The 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross isn't trying to be the fastest, the biggest, or the flashiest. It's trying to be smart, stylish, and enjoyable, and that's exactly why it works. If this is the direction Toyota is heading with their compact SUVs, I'm here for it. Let me know what you think. Is this the Corolla Cross you've been waiting for, or are you still on the fence? Either way, 2026 is shaping up to be a really interesting year for Toyota.